was a little 9-0 spurt that you guys had mid-third quarter, I think. 3 free throws, a nice three-pointer for Alex, and another and one bucket for Steven. What's the key to being able to string those little streaks together? It ended up being a pretty big difference in the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, generally, you're always battling momentum in games, positively or negatively, and one of the things I think that breaks momentum is when you have good first shot defense, but you don't rebound. Generally those are going to lead to second chance points or fouls, and it slows the game down. I thought during that stretch there was times we got consecutive stops, we rebounded the ball well, we were able to get out in transition, and I think we're effective that way. And we had consecutive possessions with consecutive stops. When you have consecutive stops, you don't give up second chance points. It allows you to go on runs.
During that stretch, I think New Orleans turned it over. Melo, Steven, and Russ, just for a couple brief seconds, got together while it was a dead ball, talked something out, and then you guys got the and one play. Just your thoughts on how important those little moments of communication can be in the heat of the battle like that.
Yeah, I think that's important. Those guys were on the same page. They kind of shifted around and moved some players around on a particular play that we run, and Melo did a good job of screening for Steven. Steven got behind the defense, and Russ found him for a foul. But the communication is really critical, and it's really critical on defense. I thought last night we did a much better job maintaining the communication through 48 minutes. But it's really hard to play at this level and be effective as a group and as a team without a high level of communication and talking to one another on the court.
I assume that's one of the reasons your ability to rotate and cover the three-point line as effectively as you did last night. Communication, but was there anything else tactically that you guys switched?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we gave up. I didn't think either team shot the ball particularly well last night. I mean, certainly I thought it was a good game to go on the road and win, but at the same point too, we did give up some threes. We did give them some open looks that they didn't make, and we had our share that we didn't make either. But I do think that the times in the half court when we were talking and communicating, working out those coverages, I thought we did a good job defending the line. I thought where we got hurt was in transition on missed shots.
Billy, what's working for Jerami Grant? He's playing so well for you off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's playing within himself. He's taking good shots. He's been able to find plays in around the basket, rolls to the rim. He can make plays off the dribble. I think generally when he's at the 5 spot, he probably has a quickness advantage against most centers. When they do back off him, it's getting him clean looks and good looks. He's shot the ball well from behind the line. But certainly he's given us some really good quality minutes.
When he got here, it was said he can't shoot the three, and he's been much better. I mean, he's been last year, this year than people thought he was going to be.
Well, I think one of the things that happens here, once these guys get to the NBA, and for Jerami, it's probably been hard early in his career. He started off as a guy that needed to move to a small forward spot, then he played the power forward spot. Then last year for us, he was like a 3 and a 4. Now this year he's been a 3, 4, and 5. So really throughout his career in the NBA, he's really has never settled into one position. He's had to do a lot of different things. But with all that being said, the one thing that's always going to help his game is his ability to shoot the basketball. And to his credit, being in the NBA, it's all he has had a chance to really work on is shooting the basketball. And the more I think these guys are in the league and the older they get, I think generally guys do get better shooting the ball.
Billy, does Stevens' offensive rebounding, just how good of an offensive rebounder he's become, not necessarily whether he's getting them or not, but because of the way teams have to scheme against him, does that help your transition defense?
Well, I think transition defense is all predicated on your offense. And generally when we have really good ball movement and the floor is put into a situation where they have to rotate and scramble, it's one of the hardest things we had to do is when you're in rotation is to rotationally block out. So when we have really good ball movement, those are the possessions that really help Steven offensive rebound. And when we have really good ball movement possessions and Steven has the opportunity to offensive rebound, it also gives our team an opportunity to get back in transition. So you want to be able to give Steven opportunities to rebound and offensive rebound, but like every team saying, hey, keep this guy off the glass, keep this guy off the glass. But when his man's having to come across and rotate and it frees him up on the baseline to have him being blocked out by a guard, those are hard rotational blockouts. They're hard to do. So I do think a lot of our transition defense is predicated on our ball movement first, and then Steven's ability to certainly chase the ball and offensive rebound, and then give ourselves a chance to get back.
On nights when he is getting a bunch of offensive rebounds, is it harder, or when you guys go up against someone who just is consistently killing you on the offensive glass, is it Do you ever notice guys just kind of deviate from what they're supposed to do, opponents deviate from what they're supposed to do, and just thinking like in almost kind of a frenzy sort of situation?
I lost you there a little bit during the question. I apologize.
Because I phrased it weird.
Okay,
It's my fault.
all right.
So do you notice like when Steven is having a night when he's just
Really
pulling down
rebound.
every offensive
Yeah.
rebound? Like, do you notice opponents like deviating from what they were doing earlier in the game, not necessarily as an adjustment, but guys, trying to improvise?
Yeah, I
just
mean, you always
like
got to
do?
try to make adjustments, during the course of the game. A lot of times, I think one of the things that has happened in the NBA, which is different, is, like in college, people will send 3 or 4 guys to the glass to go rebound because of the premium on early shots, transition shots. Most teams get out and run, and the highest percentage shots in the first 7 seconds. So with that being said, most teams send 4 guys back. There's not a lot of teams that go rebound with more than 2 or 3 people. We've struggled with teams that have come with several people because we've gotten into a habit, to be honest with you, of not blocking out well enough. Because when these teams are running in from the perimeter, a lot of times we're not used to seeing that.
You mean on the defensive?
Yeah,
ends?
yeah. So I do think that, to your point, there is times where you're getting hurt on the backboard. You have to make adjustments if teams are sending people to the glass the way they are. And it may not only be Steven, but it may be other players.
What makes Steven so exceptional as an offensive rebounder?
One, I think he carves out really good space. 2, I think he's got a really good knack for the ball. And then 3rd is I think he gives great effort. I've always said this about guys that score on what I would call like dirty work points. He gets those offensive rebounds and you see it, but no one really ever talks about the amount of time that he goes to the glass, 2 offensive rebound, doesn't get it. Like, you have to keep going every single time with the understanding that you're probably, as many times as you go, you're going to get a very, very small percentage of the ones that do come to you. And I give Steven a lot of credit for his persistence and his perseverance to keep battling on every possession, even for the ones he doesn't get. But with that kind of effort, he's going to get his fair share.
You guys have 2 guys who, like you mentioned, Steven's knack for the ball and just like the way he reads shots and where they're going to go. Like, him and Russell are both extremely good at that. Is that a natural talent, or do you guys coach that at all?
No, I think those guys are blessed with that. They have the ability, and you talk about different things. Steven's figured out on the backside or on the weak side, how to wedge and kind of get position where he can kind of carve out space for himself. Russell's really good at when he penetrates and kicks it and the shot's going up, like he can really watch the flight of the ball and he can get his athleticism and his instincts into it pretty quickly. But it's those guys' ability. It's maybe gotten better as they've gotten older in their careers, but those guys were blessed with that, and they give really good effort. To go offensive rebound, you have to give great effort. And you got to go in, and there's a lot of physicality to it as well.
Your wins against
Last one
Golden
for
State,
Coach.
what were the elements in those 2 games that allowed you to beat them by 17 and 20?
Well, I mean, transition defense can be a major key. You got to get back in transition, defend a 3-point line. I think, probably the games that we won, we did a good job of forcing turnovers. I don't think you can always generally count on that all the time because a lot of times it's in the other team's control. I think we've got to do a really, really good job, obviously, with the 3-point line and scrambling defensively because we're going to be in rotations. And then I think for us, we got to take care of the basketball, and we got to have good quality possessions, and we got to move the ball and generate good shots for each other.
When the Warriors been such a good matchup for you guys? I mean, they're a really good team. You won 2 out of 3, played really well against them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe different times of the year. I don't know why. I mean, we've had, I think one of the things that's helped maybe is with a Josh Eustace and a Paul George or a Russell. Corey hasn't been here, but sometimes you've got guys like Klay Thompson, like Green, like Kevin. They're long on the perimeter. Iguodala, they're long and they can rebound and play over you. And I think sometimes our length has been able to be something that's been helpful for us. We've been able to get that involved and maybe try to be disruptive with our hands, to be disruptive in terms of passing angles, to be disruptive in terms of contesting shots late. I think when we can get our length into the game, that's probably helped us.
All right, thank you, Coach.